Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the QOL pre-market analysis for Thursday, August 27th. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button for me. If you like this video, of course. Let's get into things right now. Today, what do we have right now? Unemployment claims came out at 203,000. That's down. And then we have trade balance is 118 billion. So that is up a little bit. And inventory is 1.3%. So I'm not sure what that's going to do right now. So the big event for today and tomorrow, the last of the three events this week, is Jackson Hole. So that starts today, and then tomorrow, Kevin Worth speaks at 9 o'clock. So that'll be a big thing. So we had NVIDIA earnings yesterday. That was the midweek hurdle that we had. Their numbers came in good, and their forecast is good as well. So good pop in after hours yesterday. We'll see if that's going to be able to hold up. Let's get into it right now. So the VIX created a little bit of a gap down here right now. We still have this gap up from $14.27 from August 17th. That will need to fill. We are below the 20 at $15.45, which is good. You want to stay below this close from yesterday. So the markets continue to move in their upward fashion. Maybe we can get to push to all-time highs before the end of the month, which would be nice. Let's get into oil. Oil's kind of hovering right at the 20-day moving average, sitting, right at about $82 a barrel. We do have these gap downs, one at $90.40 a barrel from July 24th, and the last one from March 30. No, actually, is there one higher? No, that's it. $96.99. It's a gap down from May 22nd. We do have this gap up at $71.63 from July 10th, too. So oil kind of hanging around here below the 100 and trapped in between the 20 and the 100-day moving average. The 100 is sitting at $87.10 a barrel. You have the 200-day moving, the 50-day moving average is $79 a barrel, and below that you have the 200-day moving average at $77.85 a barrel. So we'll have to watch those levels right there. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin 81,262 is the high the other day. Really trying to move its way upward right now. So I think if you can get above that 81,262, you could push into the 82,833 level, and above that, then you could start moving yourself higher and get back into the highs at 97,620, 97,963. So good push there. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum right now made not all-time highs, of course, but 25,063 overnight. Not a bad level. Got to get above 25,029 and hold. And then if you get that, maybe you can push into that 2620 level, which is a November of 2025 low. You'll probably get a little resistance up in that area as well. But it is trending higher, so that is positive for the cryptos. Okay, let's get into ES right now. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. A little bit of a gap up here, kind of filled already. Line in the sand today, 77.24.25. Got to get above and hold that. If you get above and hold that, I think you can push into the 77.65 level, which is a high from August 19th. We are holding the, what is that level there? That is the 20. So here we are holding the 20-day moving average above that, which is pretty good. The 20-day moving average can open up at 77.2304. So right at that 77.24.25 level. Going to have to watch that level right there. So I think if you can get a pop and hold above that, you push into 77.65.40. And then if you can get above that, we have this open point of control at 77.94.47, which will probably get some resistance up there. But it is kind of trying to have a little stair stepping higher, and higher lows and higher highs, right? So trying to get that movement right now. We've been in a little consolidating period here for the last week or so. So looking at the SPY is going to be pretty similar. SPY is performing a little better, well above the 20-day right now. It's 760, not well above, but a nice little pop in post-market yesterday, and that was probably because of NVIDIA, of course. Got to hold the 767.46 low from August 6th. If you hold that, you can push into that 772.30 level, which is going to be right. It's August 17th low, and then we have this open point of control at 773.34, which you probably get a little headwind. But if you pop through that and knife through it and hold it, 775.05 to 776.85 is a level that you're probably pushing. Then you've got these all-time highs at 779.38. Maybe you can get these all-time highs before the end of the month, which would be nice. If you do lose yesterday's close, I don't have anything until you get this previous all-time high at 760.40. We did not come down and test that level yet. So if the market does flush, I'd like this level for support. And below that, we do have an open point of control at 757.70. Looking at the Nasdaq right now, Nasdaq above the 50, sitting at 29,461, and the 20. The 20 is probably going to open up today at 29,548. Got to hold that level right in there. I had a little gap up after the close yesterday. That closed that gap this morning, so now we're popping higher. 29,783.54. If we push higher today, I like that first level. It's a previous all-time high that was originally set on May 14th of this year. If you pop through that, then I think you can make a nice little run towards that 30,000 level, 30,029.50, which is a low from August 14th. And then if you can get above that, we do have this open point of control at 30,208 level. On the downside, if we lose 29,352.50, 29,066 is your next line of support there. Looking at the Qs are going to look pretty good. Holding this 715.67 level, pretty good. If you pop above 721.50, I'd like us to move into 731.92. It's a July high of this year. And then above that, we have the 741.63 level, which is a May high. And then above all that, then you move into all-time highs, 746.65. On the downside, if you lose the 20-day, you do have the 50-day sitting at 712.36 today for maybe a little bounce. So if the flush is a little bit, you can hold, and then you get that little bounce there. You can see how the market was rejecting a little bit yesterday at the 709.65, and it held nicely. So this is a pretty decent level. If the market flushes back to that, it seems to get a nice little level of support here. And you can see a point of control that we have in here sitting at 7, call it 710.83. So decent levels right in there. Okay, let's get into the Mag 7. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button like this video. NVIDIA, nice little pop there, got up to 226.81 yesterday. Rejecting this 224.76, that's going to be your line in the sand. You got to get above that. If you get above and hold that today and tomorrow, I think you could push into the June highs of 235, and then above the June 235s, you have the high of 241. NVIDIA had great earnings, and also their forecast was pretty significant as well. So I like NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got some good strength. Got to get a hold above this 224.76 in order to push into 235. On the downside here, we do have this filled point of control at 217.50. The market flushes back to that. That could be a nice level of support. You can see what it did yesterday in post-market. Had that big, rally after the close. Actually, it was right after the close. It was a, liquidity grab down here. So the market flushed down below the 100 and the 50-day moving average at 207.75, and then it got gobbled right up. So pretty good strength on NVIDIA right now. So we are above the moving averages right now. So when you're above the moving averages, you're looking for pullback longs, right? So if the market flushes, I'd be looking for levels for long entries. We have this midline regressional trend line that I have here sitting at 219.84. You can see the market responded on that pretty well too. So that's a pretty decent level too. Let's get into Apple. Apple's kind of soft right now. Just trying to hang on to this 20-day moving average sitting at 310.29. If you lose this upper end regressional trend line that I have here at 309.46, we have this 308.97. It's a filled point of control from August 5th. If we lose that, then I think we could flush down to the 307.01 level. And if you lose that, here's that 301.97 Fibonacci level. It's a 76.4% level there. That's a pretty significant level if the market flushes there. On the upside right now, you got to regain this 313.45, which is yesterday's close. If you regain that, then you can push into the 317.40, which is a previous all-time high from June. And then above that, we have probably a little headwind up here at 319.03, which is a midline regressional trend line that I have here from April of 2025. Above that, then you can push into all-time highs at 323.45. Let's look at Meta. Meta had their settlement yesterday regarding their lawsuit. The market popped off of that, and then it sold off, hanging right around this 20-day moving average, sitting at 573.12. I think if you lose that 573.12, we could flush down to the 556.88 level. Below that, we have a bunch of things that are still open from it. We have a point of control down here, 533.14 from July 30th. And then below that, we have a gap up from April 22nd, sitting here at 500, call it 500 even. That if the market flushes to that would probably give you a decent level to get long. We do have this midline regressional trend line that I have here from October of last year, that if the market flushes, I like the first line here of defense at 556.88. On the upside, in order to think up, I'm thinking you got to get above this 585.01 in order to push up. However, you do have this 50-day moving average. That's going to probably be a level that you're going to have to pop through as well. You do have this high from August 7th there. If you regain that, I think that you can start pushing your way up into the 100, 607.36, and then above that, the 618.70 level would be your level that you'd probably get a little resistance there. But you can see right now it's still in a little, this is all the settlement from yesterday, all this price action here. But I think it could, if it can hold the 20-day right now, which is sitting right here, right where it's at right now, call it 573 even, then maybe you could push higher. If you can get above yesterday's closing, I think we can definitely continue to get some upside there before the end of the month is over here. Okay, let's get into Google. Google kind of seems like a little bit in the penalty box on Google right now. So we're well below our moving averages. So if you're below your moving averages, you're looking for pop and fades, meaning if the market pops, you're looking for levels to take it short still. It may not be done on the downside here. I think today you could flush to this 333.69 level and the 200-day moving average at 332.96. 200-day moving averages are pretty significant levels. Everybody has them on their charts. They look for those levels to get long. If you do lose the 20 at 332.96, I do have this weekly high from November of last year at 330.47. That would be an ideal break and retest hold here. So that would, if you do lose the 20, I do like this level at 330.47. However, if it knifes through that 330.47, I won't have anything until you have that 319.39 level. On the upside today, for me to be thinking long on Google, you got to get above 341.92 rather. Get above that 341.92, then maybe you could push back into these moving averages. The 20 is sitting at 348.42. You have the 50 sitting at 349.02, and then above that, we have this 352.83 level, and that is a high from June of this year. And then above that, of course, you have the 100-day moving average. So there's a little room here. One thing to keep in mind right here, here's a nice little speed zone on Google right now. So I would say if you can get above this 340.21 level, then I think you can push right back into the previous day close from, I think that was from Tuesday at 343.29. Okay, let's look at Amazon. Amazon's just kind of a shit show. Excuse my language here, but it's kind of looking like a heartbeat here. We are above the 100-day moving average at 253.19 and as well as the 50 at 250.88. However, we are below the 20-day moving average. That's something to keep in mind. I'm not thinking long on Amazon unless you can regain this 266.10 number. We're at 259.68 as we speak. Trying to hold this July 16th high, sitting here at 258.08. If you lose that, I've got a low here from May at 255.19, which I think it could flush to. And then, of course, you have your supports that we just spoke about with the 100 at 253 and the 50 sitting at 250.88. Looking at Microsoft now. Microsoft getting above the 20, holding the 20 nice. So you can see stair stepping here, right? So look at the 20 all the way over here from the 21st, which is last Friday, I think it was. I'm not sure. Stair stepping higher, right? So this is moving exactly with the price action, right? So you're making higher highs and higher lows, right? So we'll see what it does for today. You got to hold yesterday's lows. If you lose yesterday's lows, then I think this stair stepping higher is going to be done. Thinking long today on Microsoft, got to get above and hold the 496.37, which is yesterday's close. If you get that, then I think you could pop into the 506 level, which is a low from October of last year. You probably get some headwind there. And then if you do get the headwind there, I think that you could possibly push. If you get above that 506, then I think you have that 519.30 is the next level that I have. It's a September of 2025 high. On the downside, one thing to keep in mind, we do have a gap up here at 466.84 from June of 26. So if the market does flush, we lose the 20, we lose the 484.16, then I think you could come back down here and close and have a little housekeeping and close these levels at 466.84. If the market knifes through the 466.84, I don't have anything until you have 456.16, which is a weekly high from December of 2024. So that's going to be a significant level if the market flushes to that 456 level. Let's take a look at SpaceX. SpaceX had a nice little pop yesterday, holding this 139.41 level. It's a low from August 17th. So here's your line in the sand today, 140.56. It's a 4-hour high that we have here from the 19th. And so if you can break and hold above that, we have a nice little speed zone here. And then I think you could close that speed zone here and then make your way to the 147.78 level. However, we do have some levels on the downside you got to pay attention to. If you lose the 139.41, you could possibly flush back down to this 135 level. And below that, we have some open pointing controls. We got a 129.22 from August 7th. And then last, we got a filled one at 123.61. However, we do have one last open pointing control down below at 110.53. So kind of at a crossroads right here. Pop and hold and see the price action above 140.56. Maybe you make your way into that 147.78 point of control here, where you probably get some headwind on that front as well. Okay, let's get into Tesla right now. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button for me and like this video. So one thing I want to go over on Tesla that I've been looking at here, there's an ABC pattern on Tesla. For those of you that don't know an ABC pattern, it is one leg, A to B, the second leg, B to C, and then the third leg, C to D, is the equal. Normally, it's an equal distance from the first leg, A to B. So you measure your A to B, and then you get your B to C, and then you take the same measurement here and you attach it to the high of the C, and then this is where you look for a reversal, right? So this is a bullish ABCD pattern because the market's been, for Tesla, it's been rising right now, right? So we're losing some major levels here, though. This is a trend line that I've been drawing here since Tesla started. A little tiny upward move from since 293.40. So that's going to be a line in the sand. Maybe you fill this pattern today. One thing to note, if it knifes through this 340.53, I think we head down and test this April low at 337.24. And below that, I don't have anything until 327.89. So, if you pop through and the market knifes through this D, this ABCD pattern becomes null and void. If you get support down here, it has some nice confluence here. It's that this 340 is a high from August 18th, which would be a break and retest. Then you could push higher. On the upside today, if you can regain this point of control that was filled yesterday, let's go over the point of controls from yesterday. So yesterday we had a nice little point of control at the market open here, and we spoke about this yesterday before the trade. Point of control was wide open, market flushed in the morning, and then popped right up and hit this point of control right to the penny, and then it sold off right there. So hopefully you guys were watching the video yesterday and you were able to take advantage of that trade. It's a beautiful trade. So this is a filled trade. So it's an open point of control from the 25th, right? So it's open because the market flushed down here, did not come back up and hit the level, and it still didn't hit the level. Market flushed in the morning, popped up, hit the level, and then sold off. So there's some significant sellers up here. You can see we're looking at a 15-minute chart. So the market continued to sell off. It did rally towards the end of the day, but right now we're a little soft. And so I'm not thinking long on Tesla. So you can at least regain this 347 level. If you regain this, and then you pop back up into yesterday's fill point of control. And if you get some steam and through this 356.94, and then if you get above that 346.94, this is where your speed zone comes into play, and you can pop back into that 362. It looks a lot better on the 4-hour chart. I'll show you what that looks like here. So if you could get back above this level right in here, this 356 level, here's a speed zone that's created right here, and then possibly you could push back into 362. These don't necessarily happen today, but you leave them on your charts for when the market starts to gravitate and move towards those levels. Then you can know how to play your trades, right? So right now we are getting a little sell-off in here right now. So maybe the ABCD pattern closes up. You can watch this closely today, but pay attention though. If you lose the 340.53, I think you could come down here and touch the 337.24. However, if you do lose that, it makes this ABCD pattern null and void, and the market could still continue to flush until you can get some buyers to step up. All right, so let's look at our 15 minutes, see what that's doing right now. Right, so it's a little consolidating pre-market right now, but we'll see what the market has in store for us. Let's take a quick look at our broader markets right now and see what they're doing before the market starts. You know, you did have a little support yesterday with NVIDIA giving that market pop up here. So it's starting to flush a little bit right now. So pay attention to your broader markets. What we're going to do for today as far as options for Tesla, we're going to do the 345 calls that expire tomorrow. So we'll have a couple days to play with this with the premium price. And then I'm going to have the 345 puts up here. Right now we're trading right at the 345. So this premium price of the 345, both on the calls and the puts, this closed at $5 on the calls. They closed at $5.15. We are below the close right now, which closed at 345.82. So this will flush out. Plus, you're going to lose some time decay. So you probably give up $1 here. It'll probably be in the fours, maybe the mid fours. It'll open up, depending on if it open up right here or if there's going to be some more flush pre-market. The 345, they closed at $4.30. Same thing. It's kind of hovering right here. So I would suspect this will probably open up in the fours, maybe the high fours if the market continues to flush. Aside from that, that's all we're going to do for today. So also keep in mind you have Jackson Hole starting today, and then tomorrow Kevin Morris speaks. So there'll be some action there. Also keep in mind Thursdays is it used to be a day where Tesla can find its direction and there'd be some good momentum. But one thing to keep in mind, you have a lot of the institutional players that are away for their summer vacation right now. So the follow through usually is not as great as it could be. Like yesterday, we got a little choppy, but I would say get it in out of your trades quickly. Don't look for that big home run. That's been my problem lately. I've had some great trades that I've turned into losers because I was looking for longer profits. And I think there's nothing wrong with choppiness. It's take your profits pretty quickly and get away from the computer. So anyways, that's going to be about it. If you want me to cover some other things, as usual, drop me a note down in the comment box. I'll be glad to cover them. However, I do not cover any penny stocks. So anyways, that's me about it. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button for me, share this video as we try to build the channel. If I don't see everybody in the trade room, I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.